Welcome to Hiwar Khas, or Special Dialogue. Today we have a very special guest. Lauren Booth is an internationally renowned human rights activist and campaigner, and only a few weeks ago took part in the Free Gaza voyage, which defied Israeli sanctions on the beleaguered Strip and sailed into Gaza carrying gifts and aid from the outside world. However, as trying as that was, it was what happened later that became extremely interesting in Lauren Booth's adventure, as she was prevented from leaving Gaza and remained trapped after both Israeli and Egyptian authorities prevented her from crossing in order to return to the UK. Lauren Booth is famously former Prime Minister Tony Blair's sister-in-law, being Cherie Blair's half-sister. Yet her standing condemning the war in Iraq and Tony Blair's policies couldn't be more vocal or more vociferous. She's a writer and a journalist and has 2 young children. Lauren Booth, welcome to a Special Dialogue today, and I think that we have to start off with your latest adventure, from which you only returned a few days ago. I understand you spent nigh on a month in Gaza. That wasn't the plan, was it?
No, originally I was going to go over just for 3 days. The boats were going to turn around and leave, which they did. But when I arrived in Gaza, I thought, what an opportunity. I don't want to come as a tourist, a grief tourist, and just look around for 2 days. I want to spend time here, get a real feeling, go to the clinics, meet the people. And there was the Rafah crossing was supposed to be open, so I took that risk. And
then you spent almost a month being trapped virtually. But we'll come to that. Yeah. Let me first of all start with the Free Gaza campaign. What was the thinking behind it? I mean, obviously now we've seen the news, we know what kind of tremendous impact it had on the people in Gaza, and also those who followed the news and the news of the campaign, obviously. I mean, it was quite significant. But I mean, where did the idea come from? When did it all start? And at which point did you decide that you wanted to be part of this?
Well, the Free Gaza movement had its roots, quite rightly, in Gaza itself, with the campaign to end the siege and local grassroots movements who were calling for help from the outside world. And this call was heeded firstly and primarily by several Americans, including one piano tuner called Paul Larudi. Yeah. And they just said, well, look, why not open a route into Gaza via the sea? It's such a simple idea. Nobody's tried it for many years. And using individual donations to the internet from around the world, they managed to save enough money to get 46 willing people interested enough in the region to go along on the boats and visit. And it was the simplicity and purity of the mission.
How long did the planning take?
Well, I think it was going for 1.5 years, and I came on board very, very late. I got an email saying these boats were going, and I thought I really would love to go on board and take part in this very brave mission.
How did you find it?
Well, the boats were very old. You know, it was not a luxury mission. It was raised with the goodwill of the people around the world. And they were old Greek fishing boats, and the weather was very rough, and a lot of people were sick. And every inch of the way, we really were convinced that we were at great, great risk. From the Israeli Navy, who has policed those waters around Gaza very harshly for 41 years.
And I mean, as difficult and as trying as that particular voyage must have been, and you know, from the pictures that we saw and the stories that were relayed by people who came back, I mean, it must have been extremely difficult, and allow me to say this to be a little bit sexist, but particularly for a woman on a boat, and you know, all the facilities being, you know, not there, either sanitary or otherwise. It must have been, you know, incredible. I mean, how did your family feel about it? I mean,
well, the conditions were really basic, but everyone on board went knowing that we wanted to bring help to Gaza, and so that really didn't matter. A day's discomfort. I mean, I in fact was on board for 2 weeks. Some people were on board hiding in the Greek islands for over a month, because really the safety of the boats was at risk all the time, because we knew for absolute certain that Mossad agents were watching us, because the Greek authorities, the Cypriot authorities, told us that that was the case, and we weren't sure whether that would mean that there was going to be sabotage, whether there was going to be violence, or whether it was just that the ships were being monitored.
So the risk of the boats or the people on the boat being attacked was a real one. I mean, it was a real risk.
It was taken very seriously, certainly by the Cypriot authorities, who I have to say were absolutely marvellous, taking care of their own ports primarily, but also doing reacting justly to the situation of having a legal, legitimate boat in their harbour that needed protecting. And on the day we left, they actually sent frogmen beneath the boat to check that there was no damage to the hull or any of the engines.
And I understand that you yourself came under some pressure. You were threatened. In fact, your home was threatened as well.
Yes, I mean, I wasn't the only one to receive calls to my mobile phone once that the press knew that I was involved with this mission. But getting a call to your house when you're not there, where your children live, saying your wife's under threat, she'd better not go to Gaza, it's a disgusting thing to do. And whoever is behind this pressure to keep people away from Palestine, to stop people commenting on the situation there, they must be ashamed of themselves.